start it up here. Give me 1 second. Alright. Let's continue where we were. It's been a couple days here. I was doing a lot of work on some different tempering recipes, so I think I will do a little clip of that, kind of talking about some different things this session if we got time. Let's see. There was one item in particular I was just going to try to look up quick here. I was trying to get, there was a couple good recipes that I was able to come up with using the Lorimar iron. And I believe that can only be got from quest rewards. Oh no, okay. We can get that at the level 4 item shop. Okay, that's good. So all that we really need to do is continue progressing through the story. Should be good. Yeah, and then I was looking at these recipes I was going for before. I actually was able to make some adjustments to the shoe recipe that I was planning on. So I think it simplified it, and we actually don't even need as many of these coins as I got, but those will still be good eventually anyway. But these recipes are actually so simple that you don't even need to use the coins. So I think that they're really great for low-level play. You can get them pretty easily on the first playthrough. Let's see, and we actually have 1 holy water already, which means I think we might be able to do this right now. Let's see. We've got mercury, sulfur, the 1 holy water. We can eventually we'll be able to buy holy water from a shop, but we haven't placed that shop yet, so I only have the 1 that I happen to get from a treasure chest. Let's see, we have plenty of meat. We have the flaming quills that I checked for. We have the ear of wheat. Needle we have. Let's see, stinky breath. We have that. Sharp claw. Giant's horn, yep. The 2 spiny seeds. Yep. Squalfin, Diceberry, Loquat shoes. Squalfin, Diceberry, Loquat shoes. Lily pods. Yep. Alright, so then I just need to then also make sure I can get the Earthstone, Firestone, Waterstone, and Windstone. Those are from the level 1 item shop, which I believe is in... Where is that? Is that in Domina? Or is that in Lumina? Let's see, get my... Pretty sure that's Domina, that's kind of what the guide's pointing to here, so we'll just run over there and check that. Actually, let me... I don't suppose I have any of them already. Probably not. Okay. And then, yeah, it's just taking me a little while to figure out exactly who sells this stuff. Because I've so rarely actually used these items. this move. This is so bizarre. I don't think that there is another shop here. But why? Oh no, that's what it is, isn't it? They sell different items on different days, I think. I'm pretty sure that's how this works. When she's selling stuff, it has weapons, armor, and musical instruments. That's not that guy's not a thing. Okay. Different guy, same items. Where did the mom go? That's nice. Alright, so that's how I get the encyclopedia. Vitamins, keratin, potassium, fiber, polyphenol. Big is good. So, I tried the other day, because then I think the daughter is running the shop, and see if that makes a difference. The guide, it's pretty clear that the guide says that there should be an item shop here, which is what's going to sell the Earthstone, Firestone, etc. Okay, so she's running the shop again. So let's just go to the next day. So that was the third configuration, which was a duplicate of the first configuration. And now we're looking at the fourth configuration. Which is a duplicate of the second configuration. So this is the fifth configuration. Okay. So is it just goes back and forth between two different setups? Because there's only, I think there's only 6 days, right? Alright, so we wasted a whole bunch of time there. So I was going to try to break out. Try to break out the. There we go. Break out the windows here. Oops. Pardon me for one moment here. All right. kind of see some of the notes that I'm working with here. Alright, so it's just so we're not going completely insane. I think the Domina kind of has special shops, and maybe these items only show up if there's something else that's done as the shop, so I'm just gonna go to Lumina. And then hopefully this should show up, and I just have to remember which, I always forget which building I have to go in here. I think it's this one. This has, okay, this one has the Sun, Moon, Glow Crystal, Chaos Crystal, Ivory, and Coral stuff. So let me go to the other shop quick. It should be over here. And then this, yeah, or no, this is the weapon guy. Yeah, and he just has instruments. Yeah, but then the other one is, yeah, back here. Now check this dude has, should have, this guy hopefully has the stuff then. And yeah, okay. So we need one, let's see, and actually this, I need these for the other recipe I'm looking at as well. So let's see, we need earth, water, yeah, earth, water, fire, wind. Give me 2 of the earth, 2 of the water, 1 wind. So one of the recipes, the shoes, is going to use 1 of each. The other one I was looking at, which is a weapon, just uses the earth and the water. So that should be good on those. And that recipe is going to have to wait till we get access to the Lorimar iron, though. But then that one should be pretty good, and we actually will need, I think we already have all the mercury and sulfur for that as well. Four mercury, and then how many sulfurs do we have? 4 sulfur. Alright, so that's good. Yeah, because we only need 2 of each per recipe. I think you guys will enjoy this this weapon recipe in particular because it's quite efficient. And then we will also need 3 additional holy water to be able to do the weapon recipe anyway, and that we'll have to get a shop for that first. Actually, you know, let me just get a quick save before we go too crazy here. I suppose I can check the produce too. mush in a box, nice. Those are kind of rare and useful for pets. The other thing I do want to grab though that I need is a garlic crown. So the good guide on that is, let's see, just on GameFAQs here, I believe that is the Pets and Plants guide. No, never mind. It is the Produce guide. Never mind, it is the Seed Produce guide. Yep. So garlic crown is actually somewhat rare. So to get that, we just want to plant a white seed on its own, and then the probability is 81 out of 256. That's a little annoying. We might need to, because we're run out of those seeds. Let's see, and that would be, that's the only thing we need, yeah. We need, there's a few coins. I think I have them now, so. Yeah, let's see, Wisp, Shade, Aura. Just gonna check the other garden, and then we can get into making the boots, or shoes, I should say. Shoes and boots are separate kinds of items, I think, in this game. Ooh, if that looks like a garlic crown right there. Nice, alright, that's very lucky. I think this is not ripe, I'm not sure. Yeah, honey onion, okay. Alright, well that's good. That helps a lot. So we don't have to worry about any other plants then. Now there was, I did have a little chart here. Okay, so good stuff to grow if you have nothing else to do would be bell grapes or mangolephants or gold clovers. So let's see what is the most common. So it looks like, so bell grapes are pretty rare. Wow, they're very rare. Okay, so probably won't worry about trying to get those. Okay, mangolephant is also rare. Gold clover is rare as well. These are basically, yeah, they require white or blue seed, white or rainbow seeds. Huh, I guess all of the rare ones are the good ones, right? Yeah, apple socks. Alright, so they kinda... Alright, interesting. So the reason these are useful for tempering, just because they provide a significant amount of energy without goofing up anything else, but it looks like that the only ones that do that are exactly the ones that are super rare. So you can certainly use let's do lily pods then, since those are always good. And that is blue and red. If I had more flat seeds, I'd go for them, because flat seeds aren't very useful, but I don't really have any. I'm not going to waste rainbow seeds on that. Alright, so now we can save the game and then get to making those shoes. And then I'll do a little kind of explanation of the whole process here as well. Me? Alright, we gotta go to a shop first to sell items before I can make new items. I have not run into that problem before, really. But yeah, it makes sense, because I haven't really sold anything all game, and I'm like probably halfway through like a full clear of the first difficulty, so I just had to unload extra items. Then we can make the custom shoes. Yeah, none of this stuff is really good or even rare. I think I'll keep the iron pot just because that's a quest thing. I'll keep the wind cap because we can use that to make money. Actually, I should just get rid of this flame flute because it's so bad. I'll never use it. farmed all those gloves back previous episodes just to realize that there was a typo or a mess up somewhere and they weren't dropping the good glove that we thought they could drop. And the sad thing is I think I've actually run into that exact problem before, because the previous game that I was playing offline many years ago, I would have been doing the exact same thing as well, where I was going for the glove. Alright. Now we're good. So the motivation for this item is looking through the tempering charts. I was always intrigued by the Spirit of Shoes Mystic card, which provides extra experience points. And I've used it in the past. It's not like incredible or anything, but I figure like at this point in the game, you might as well you can make a pretty powerful and useful tempered armor, which has like some status immunities, stats, and this might as well get the Spirit of Shoes thing for XP while you're leveling up, because it'll never be useful any other time anyway. And it's not going to be like a late game godly item, but it'll be a good item to use while you're on your way to getting the good stuff. And the reason, and then we're going to be making it, so the Spirit of Shoes Mystic card, let me pull it up quick. So this is the translated tempering chart. So the Spirit card is called Spirit of Shoes in Sandals, which is what it is called, shoes. You get more experience gems from battle. And it is triggered by adding Loquat shoes or pair of heels, Paro heels to a shoe. And that's the only, there's no other requirement that needs to be met to get this to show up, so it's very easy. And then the metal that we're using see, this is the shops. We want the item or the material we're making out of is going to be the Laurent Silver, which is very useful because it's very easy to temper the energy levels, because it has only a 7 resistance on all of these elements. It does have a high resistance on Wisp, but that doesn't matter because we don't need to use Wisp at all. And if you look through like a lot of the other materials, like some of these are good, but then they have one that's really bad, and we just want to be able to kind of manipulate a lot of the energy levels, of the essence levels, I should say. So Laurent Silver is just really great for that because it's low resistance. And 7 is kind of an important breakpoint as well. So if we look at the actual energy levels required, here's the level requirements for 8. But once you get into 5, 6, or 7 for the resistance, then you get into these much easier numbers, so we can very easily get up to, say, essence level. You can get up to essence level 5 using only one of the Sorcerer or Witch card catalysts. And if you have 2 catalysts, you can get all the way up to 7 without even using glow crystals. so I've got the, let me pull up the recipe here. First, let's actually create the item. So I talked about it's going to be shoes, and it's going to use the Lawrence Silver. And now I'll go into the next section here. So we know that we're going to want to put Loquat shoes into it at some point to get the Spirit of Shoes. There's two other big components that we're going to want to do while we're at it, and that's going to be getting status immunities, and the second one's going to be the stats. You can have items that add up to plus 20 to all stats. We're going to be doing that on this, and then we're also going to be getting a bunch of status immunities. Now if you jump in again to the tempering charts here, you'll see that there are a lot of cards, a lot of these mystic cards will have immunities. And if I just do a quick search for A:, that'll be all of the things that apply to armors. And that's where you're going to have these immunities. So, for example on how to read this, so the Bed of Thorns card provides 50% defense for strike / pierce magic. That's just going to increase your defense value, so your defense number. We don't really care about that for this. And that is just magic. Okay, so here's an immunity. So Fertility Goddess, if we can get that mystic card to show up, even if the card leaves later on, as long as it was there, we're going to get Petrify immunity on the armor. The other one, so let me just I'll get a rough little notepad here. It's just to keep notes of what we've gone over. So we want Fertility Goddess for Petrify, and then you can see that for the very next one, Ocean God is going to give you Flame Burst immunity. That is a different status effect. And God of Destruction gives you Freeze immunity. So what was the other one? Fertility, Wind God. Yeah, so those are these three here are the only ones that can apply to all armors, but we can also search for ones that are specific to shoes, and in this guide they're referred to as sandals, and then we do find that there is one, which is the Wind God, which can give us a Paralyze immunity. So we can get 4 immunities as long as we have these cards show up at any time in the tempering process. And before I jump away, I will just write down the requirements for these. So unlike the Spirit of Shoes, where all you have to do is put in Loquat shoes, these ones are a little more complicated. So to get the Wind God to show up, we need to have the Djinn essence level greater than 2, which means so 3 or more. And then also the total essence levels must be greater than 4, so 5 or more. And then let's see, Ocean Gods right here. That one it's a very similar situation, except the Undyne 3, total 5. God of Destruction is down here. This one is a little bit more difficult, so those first two, actually, and the Fertility Goddess is in this group as well, so I'll grab that while I'm here. So the Fertility is Dryad 3, total of 5. Now, the God of Destruction is a little different. So these ones are the 12 heaven gods, and they kind of fall into a somewhat predictable pattern. But the God of Destruction is one of the 7 evil gods, which falls into a different type of pattern. And for that, we need Salamander to be at 5 and or more, and Undyne must be 0. So you can kind of see that there's some, we'll have to kind of move the essence levels around as we're doing it to get these cards to show up. But obviously, as I mentioned before, they don't all need to be there at the same time. In fact, they can't. And then there's one other concept that you can get, allow you to get some immunities, and that is just from the normal items. Besides the Mystic cards, these normal items can just give you immunities as well. And if we just do a quick search, you can see that the only thing that affects sandals is the Laquachus and the Paraheels, and they give you a 25% increased defense, but we don't care about that. And we're going to add these anyway, but in fact, hope that won't mess us up later. I don't think it does. So if we look at the immunities that we can get here, there's a few that'll show up. So Pine O'Clock gives you sleep immunity. Rhinolope gives poison immunity. Oops, jump in here. Citrus Squid just increases defense, so we'll skip that one. These are defense. That's defense. And then Stinky Breath gives poison and confusion immunity. I'm going to write that one down. Now, the way that these work, for whatever reason, is that you can only get the bonus from one item among these. So, for example, if I were to put on Rhinolope for poison, well, that's a bad example, because Stinky Breath gives poison immunity as well. If I were to put in a Pine O'Clock for sleep immunity, and then if I put in a Stinky Breath for poison and confusion immunity, I'll lose the sleep immunity from the Pine O'Clock. So for this build, for this item, you could do the Pine O'Clock or the Stinky Breath, but not both. And I'm going to do the Stinky Breath because it gives 2 immunities, and I just think that's better than having 1 immunity. But if you really want sleep immunity, you could just do the Pine O'Clock instead. Now, the other thing that we have to pay attention to is the side effects. So the Stinky Breath is going to create a Mystic card called the Pixie, and this is actually a very bad card to create, because when a Pixie card is created, it will never be removed from the item unless you take specific items put in to remove it. So we're going to have to keep that in mind in the tempering process. So those are going to be the immunities. Then we'll look at the stats. Now we can get all of our stats to be plus 20, and it's kind of confusing, and I don't even really know why it is this way, and I think it might even be almost kind of a bug with the way they set it up. But if you look on these tempering charts, you'll notice that all of these items will have potentially different stat bonuses that they apply when they're added to the item. Like Toadstool Shed increases all the stats on the item when it's added. But as you're, in the course of, adding items, you're probably going to get in a situation where, you want to have to do this you want to do all the stats at the end, because if you're adding all this other stuff, it's going to mess up your stats. You wanted the stats to be maxed out when you get to the very end. Stuff you do after that could decrease the stats. But these are just kind of reflect how they modify the stats. But what you actually need to consider is the Mystic cards, what is known as the bonus growth. So these Mystic cards will actually create a boundary of what the stats could be. For example, if you have Ruler of the Sky, then it means that your power stat is allowed to go anywhere from -3 to +9. If you were then to add Flaming Quills, for example, when you add one, it would add +5 to your power, so your power would be 5. If you added another Flaming Quill when you have Ruler of the Sky, then it'll go up to +9, because that's the max that you can have. If you don't have any Mystic card, then the max stat is only 1. So, looking over here, if you just simply look over the charts, it's clear to see that the one that has the biggest, highest range is going to be the 7 Evil Gods, as they allow you to go up to +20 to a stat. So we want to have the Evil Gods be the card that determines the stat range. However, you'll notice this other column, the actual stat bonus, the Evil Gods themselves provide they're very one-sided stat bonuses. So for example, they only pump one stat and they actually decrease all your other stats. So we need to figure out items that are going to add to all of our stats while we have an Evil God giving us a maximum of +20. And the best way to do that, you'll look and there's kind of like, hodgepodge, these add a little bit of some, these add some of the others, these add all kinds of stuff. But the problem with these is obviously these are all Mystic cards. As you're adding them in, if you got to do, here's Charm, Skill, Luck, then your Evil God's going to be falling off, and then you're losing that +20 max. The trick is the Yggdrasil card, which is created by the Spiny Seed. This is why Spiny Seeds are so valuable, because if the Yggdrasil card is in the position where it's setting up and determining the stats for your item, then any item that you add afterwards, it could be meat or whatever, is going to increase all your stats, which is extremely valuable. So if you had a Yggdrasil, it's going to set your stats so they have a possible range of -5 to +10. And then if you continually add meat, then it's going to make it so that all your stats go up. So they're going to probably say they start at 0, and you have a range available of -5 to +10. They start at 0, you add meat, then they go to all +1. Add another meat, they're all +2. You can keep doing that until they get to all +10. Now, here's where it gets kind of crazy. So the Yggdrasil is what allows us to actually get the stats. The Evil Gods are what allow us to get the stat range that we want, because we want to get it to be able to be a possibility of +20. How do we get both of these at the same time? So the way that that works is that there's kind of a bug. Well, whatever the oldest card that's on there, that's the one that the game uses. So you would say, well, then it's not going to work because we want to have both the plus 20 range, but also the ability to plus them all up. This is where it's kind of, I think it's either a bug or just wildly creative programming. The way that it works is if you have two of the same card on there, for example, if you have a Yggdrasil card and then an Evil God and then a Yggdrasil again, then it doesn't consider Yggdrasil to be the oldest card. So if your item looked like this, you have Yggdrasil in the most recent slot, then the Evil God in the middle slot, and Yggdrasil in the oldest slot. The game sees the Yggdrasil up here, and it then basically erases that one. Which means that it takes that plus 20 from the Evil God, and it says, okay, the Evil God's the oldest one, we're going to use their stats. However, this stat bonus ability that allows you to increase all of your stats by adding consecutive items, that is still preserved by the Yggdrasil in the old slot. So if we can establish this configuration where we have Yggdrasil, Evil God, Yggdrasil, then adding meat will increase our stats a few at a time with each meat, all the way up to plus 20 in every stat. Now here's the other problem though. Yggdrasil is a world card, and you can only have one world card at a time. The exception to that rule, however, is the Bed of Thorns card. And this is why you see so many recipes that use needles or needle lettuce. They have the same effect of creating the Bed of Thorns. And this simply allows there to be two world cards at the same time. I don't even know if it applies to all world cards, actually, or if it just applies to the Yggdrasil. But that's the only one that really matters. So the actual configuration that we need to have is... So we need to have Bed of Thorns be the oldest, then the Yggdrasil comes in after, then the Evil God comes in after that, and then the second Yggdrasil comes in at the same time that the Bed of Thorns is leaving, so that allows them to have two Yggdrasils. And then we need to actually just put in any item that is going to create a Mystic card, which is going to then push these into the actual slots. So this is kind of the one that's known as the hidden slot. So, and for that, you can just use the Loquat shoes for that. Oddly enough, it works perfectly fine to just use that here. Well, in fact, you need to use it here because you want that card. It's actually, the card name is Spirit of Shoes. You want the card to actually be on the final item to get the Spirit of Shoes bonus. And then at this stage, the visible cards will be these. We'll add the meat to get us to the plus 20 to all stats. Then once we're at the very end, we will add lily pods or any item that creates a card that doesn't have any wildly strange effects. I like to use lily pods for this. That's going to make it so that these are the visible cards. That means Spirit of Shoes will be active. Yggdrasil is still there, which doesn't matter. And then we also have the Evil God, which needs to stay on there in order to give us that plus 20 stats. And then, so if we look through So we'll have to also pay very close attention to the essence level requirements for this configuration. Now, Bed of Thorns requires Dryad to be at least 1, and Salamander must be 0. The Yggdrasil requires Dryad to be at least 5. Spirit of Shoes has no requirements. Lilypods has no requirements. Actually, just for consistency, this is technically, the card is called Enticed Nymph. Let's put that on here. So since we need Salamander to be 0 for the Bed of Thorns, we'll just pick the evil god that has Salamander 0, and that is the Leviathan. And that is why we need the Giant's Horn. You could also use the Orangepus, but that's a rare produce. I think Giant's Horn is much easier to get. And then the other requirement for Leviathan is we actually do need Gnome to be level 5. So going into the final setup, we just need Dryad 5, Gnome 5, Salamander 0. And then we'll be all set. Now you might be able to kind of figure out what I'm doing with how these two things are going to combine. So we'll need to figure out a plan of how we want the essences to go. Now I think that the best way to do it is to first get Salamander to 5. Undyne will be 0, everything else will be 0. Then we do the God of Destruction for the freeze immunity. After that, we can basically drain Salamander. In fact, we need to drain Salamander to 0 eventually. If I get out my other little chart here, which shows the draining properties. So Salamander actually will feed into Undyne. You can see there's kind of a circle relationship here. Salamander will be drained into Undyne. So as soon as we start building up Undyne, it'll drain away all of the Salamander automatically and convert that energy into Undyne levels. Let's see, and we can actually... So the next thing that we will want to add is going to be the Ocean God. We'll start building up Undyne, that'll drain Salamander, and then, we can do a little tinkering to make sure that the total energy levels are still 5. And I believe when we add it, it has it so I believe the Undyne hits 3, the Salamander has been partially drained to 2, so that the total is 5, and then this is still satisfied. So then after we get that one, then what we do next is we basically just drain the Undyne into Jinn, and then that allows us to put on the Wind God card in a very similar process to what we just did in the previous one. And then what we do after that is we then drain it into Gnome, because we need to have Gnome at level 5 for the Evil God. And then we also will then just raise the Dryad level and get the Fertility Goddess on there as well. Now Dryad is not part of Dryad's not part of this 4-way draining cycle, so we can't drain anything into Dryad except Aura, but we don't have any of that, and nothing else is going to drain Dryad. And then the Stinky Breath can be added basically at any time, but it will create that Pixie card, and the way that I worked it out is that you can actually add it after you can actually add it. I guess it actually gets added before any of the other cards. And then the energy from this item will actually feed into the growth of the salamander essence levels, and then you can actually sneak in a holy water, which will create a cleric card. The energy from the holy water can help you during the draining of salamander into Undyne, and then this cleric is going to show up right on time to push off the pixie card. The cleric is required to remove the pixie card, otherwise it'll stay on the item forever and block up, one of these slots. So that's kind of how I formulated the plan for this item. And then if we jump over here, this is going to be the actual recipe, and I have some notes on the side here. Each item must be added sequentially from top to bottom. These items with the double slash in front are just notes, kind of like bookmarks, and then these parts with the asterisk are just a note kind of explaining the process. So now let's talk about how the essence levels actually work. So with the Lawrence Silver shoes, all of the all of the essences that we care about are going to be resistance level 7. That's determined by the material type of the Lawrence Silver. So what that means is that the amount of energy needed to increase the essence level is given by this chart, and this has a secondary piece here which counts the number of witch or sorcerer cards. That's what is created by the sulfur or the mercury, and those act as a catalyst which decreases the energy level required. And it's not even really worth worrying too much about what the energy levels are without a sorcerer or witch, because we're going to need to use these anyway to get up to level 5. So for example, if we are, just to how to read this, is that if we're currently on, suppose we have one sorcerer or witch, we're currently on level 4, and we want to get to level 5, then we have to add 48 energy. And the way that works is you have to have each item that you add on this chart here has this energy column, and that's going to tell you how much energy it is. So for example, if you were to add a bell grapes, that would be 64 energy. And you have to have the correct amount of energy to jump up a level all in one item. So if it's 48, you can't add like two you can't add like 2 things that are 24. It has to be all in one item. And then the other piece that you need to have an actual taint point, which is an item that creates the elemental essence into the item. Usually people use the coins for that. The silver or gold coins will create that. They'll make the actual essence show up on the item in the mystic card slot, and that's how the game determines where the energy goes when you add these energetic items, again, such as the bell grapes, 64 energy. If you add that into an item that has no taint points, it doesn't do anything. If you add it into an item that has, say, a salamander card, then if you're starting at a level 0, the first bundle of energy you add is going to, if it's more than 8, or if it's 8 or more energy, then you're going to bump up to level 1 salamander. If you assuming you also have a sulfur or mercury. Hopefully that's not super confusing, but I'll kind of go through the different steps here of the actual recipe now. So the way that we started out is, first thing is to add the Firestone. That's going to be part of building up the salamander so that we can get the God of Destruction. Now the Firestone is kind of nice because it creates a salamander on the item, but it's not a coin. Because the coins can be kind of annoying to get, and you can actually just buy these from a shop. So that makes it extremely easy to be able to do this recipe at a lower level. And you'll notice that they have stones that create the essences for Salamander, Gnome, Djinn, and Undyne. They do have the Sun Crystal and Moon Crystal, which are can be associated with Wisp and Shade, and you can get like 1 level increase with those, but they don't actually create the cards for them, which means that you can't get subsequent increases of energy. And then also, of course, as anyone who's done any tempering, you probably know that adding seeds will create a Dryad essence as well. So we can get Undyne, Salamander, Gnome, Djinn, Dryad without using any coins. So we start out with the Firestone. That's going to give us enough energy. 24 energy is going to be enough to get the first level of Salamander. Then we add a Sulfur. That's going to create the that's going to be one of the catalysts here, so that's going to get us into this level 1 grade. It's also, the Sulfur has 24 energy in itself, which is enough to get us to level 2 Salamander because it still has that taint point there. So anything we're adding right now is adding to the Salamander level. Then we're adding the Stinky Breath. That in itself has enough as well to get us into the next level. This also creates the Pixie card, which actually pushes the Sulfur, so the Sorcerer or Witch card, onto the item, so that we're now getting these preferable energy levels. And then that's going to have, and then the Stinky Breath has enough energy in itself to get us to level 3. Then we add Flaming Quill. That is going to be enough energy to get us to level 4 and level 5. You'll often see I use Flaming Quills on here. These add 64 energy, and they're pretty easy to farm on the first playthrough. I think that it's probably the preferable item if you want something that just adds energy. You can also use Glow Crystals, which add even more energy, but they also add a Mystic card, and they're also kind of expensive to purchase, although if you can purchase them, you can do much more complicated tempering with them than if you were just using the quills. So at this point, this is so level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gives us 5 level Salamander. Then we can put in the Sharp Claw. That'll trigger the God of Destruction card. Then we basically kind of start over. We do the Water Stone is going to be next. This is going to give us the Undyne Taint Point. It should give us 1 level of Undyne, and these will also be, because of the interaction between Undyne and Salamander, it's going to be draining Salamander levels and converting that energy into Undyne with everything that we add. We're going to add a Mercury, which is the catalyst that'll give us these preferential levels. Then we add the Holy Water, which is going to push Mercury into one of the active slots and remove the Pixie right on time, so that at this point the Mystic cards would be a Cleric in the hidden slot from the Holy Water, the Sorcerer or Witch from the Mercury, then the Undyne from the Water Stone, and then the God of Destruction from the Sharp Claw. And then the Pixie will be the one leaving the card at this time. And then we can do the Squalfin, as the Mercury and the Holy Water will each have increased the Undyne level because of the salamander draining and also from their inherent energy levels. So the Squalfin is actually what triggers the ocean god. Yep. You could also use Orca Plant. And then you basically just start over again by then adding a Windstone to get the taint point for Jinn. And then you're going to add a Mercury, just like how we did up here. Mercury, which creates the Witch card, is the catalyst that works for Jinn, Undyne, Shade, and Aura, whereas Sulfur creates the Sorcerer card, which is the catalyst for Gnome, Salamander, Wisp, and Dryad. So we added Mercury, then we actually add a Sulfur, and then a big seed, or any seed that's not a spiny seed can be added here to get a Dryad taint point. And then we actually will then add the Earthstone, and then to get the Gnome taint point, and then the Diceberry is what actually gives us the Wind God card, as you can see here. So the way that this energy buildup works is we essentially, we toss in the Mercury, and then the Sulfur is going to level up the Jinn again. The Seed will level up the Jinn, and the Earthstone will level up the Jinn, likely. We only have to get it to level 3 anyway, and then we add the Wind God here. This also means we've already set up the Dryad taint point and the Gnome taint point here as well. And then let's see, that means we'll have at this point, and then we'll have also a Sulfur on there. And Sulfur, of course, is the one that pumps Gnome and Dryad. So right now the cards would look like Ocean God in the hidden slot, and the Gnome taint point, Dryad taint point, and then the Sulfur. So with this configuration, we can simply add 2 meats, which add just 16 energy. It's going to be enough to level up Gnome and Dryad, and then we can add 3 Flaming Quills. That'll be enough to level up Gnome and Dryad all the way to level 5. Then we can add the Ear of Wheat to get the Fertility God to show up. After that, then we can simply go into our final configuration. So we'll just simply add, so at this point we do have Dryad and Gnome at level 5, and I believe everything else is at level 0. Needle will be added to get the Bed of Thorns, then Spiny Seed to get the Yggdrasil card, then the Giant's Horn to get the Leviathan card, then the Spiny Seed again to get the other Yggdrasil. And this, of course, is exactly the configuration here that we want. Then the Loquat shoes is added. So then these, with the shoes being added in the hidden slot, these 3 will be the active ones. You can then add, I believe it is exactly 10 meats, which will then increment your stats up to plus 20 in everything. Then you add the final Lily Pods, which pushes the Spirit of Shoes into a visible slot, keeping Leviathan for the plus 20 to all stat barrier. Alright, so now let's do it. Now it's also worth mentioning that having the higher essence levels is going to increase also the defense value of our armor, but we're not really going for that with this. Since you can wear 3 pieces of armor, usually people will sacrifice at least 1 piece like this just to have good resists, and good stats, because in order to get really good defensive values, you have to have a particular configurations of cards on the item, and that's going to make it so you can't have also plus 20 to all stats. So for this item, there's no consideration for maintaining high essence levels just for the sake of increasing the defense. And I also just kind of wanted to do the bare minimum essence levels just to make it easier to do it early in the game. Alright, so we got the Firestone, then we'll add the Sulfur. This should cause the Salamander essence to appear. Then we will add the Stinky Breath. And then this should cause the thing from the Sulfur to appear, which is the Sorcerer card. Then we will add 2 Flaming Quills. This should get us to Salamander level 4. There won't be any notification. And then this should get us to Salamander level 5. And then the Sharp Claw will be added, and this should cause the Pixie to enter the card, which was from the Stinky Breath. Then I will add the Water Stone. This will make sure I'm fully understanding how it all works here. So we've got Pixie, Sorcerer. So then this should push off the Salamander and add the Undyne. No, it'll not Undyne, it'll add the God of Destruction, yeah. Yeah, it's always the one before. So I'll take this opportunity to look at the item. And you can see that it has the plus 15 to 1 stat, which is indicative of the evil gods. And you can see, how do I, here we go. Yeah, and you can see that it has the defenses against poison and confusion from the Stinky Breath, and defense against freeze from the God of Destruction. Yep, and you can see there's the Sorcerer, Pixie, the God of Destruction that was just added. And then you can see that it has gotten its first level of Undyne from when I added the Water Stone, and then that has already drained 1 level of Salamander as well. So now we will add the Mercury, which will push the Undyne onto the card, onto the Undyne card onto the item. And yet the Sorcerer, which is the oldest card, will leave. Then we will use the Holy Water here, just because this is the exact moment that we can push off the Pixie without having it cause any trouble. And then there's the Witch from the previous item going in. Then we will add the Squalfin. This is going to give us the Ocean God eventually. But it will just show the Cleric coming in. Yep, there he is. Then we can add the Windstone. And this should actually put the Ocean God on there. There he is. And we'll just keep going for a little bit here. Then we can do the Mercury, which is used for leveling up the Djinn. Should push the Djinn onto the item. Then we need the Sulfur, which will push the Witch onto the item from the previous card. Push card from the previous item. Then we will do Big Seed, followed by an Earthstone, which is going to add the Dryad and the Gnome taint points. This will put the Sulfur Sorcerer on. Then we need the Earthstone. And then it's at this point that the Djinn should have reached the correct level, which means we can then add the Dice Berry for the Wind God. Because Djinn has reached level 3, we can add the Dice Berry now. And then this is also going to set us up to start growing the Dryad and the Gnome that are on there now. So then we will add 2 meats, which are just going to be energy. These should not affect card movements at all. Just giving energy to the Dryad and the Gnome. Then we'll do 3 flaming quills for extra energy. The meats I will often use in recipes when I just need a little energy because they add 16, and meat is basically completely free. And then the flaming quills I will usually use if I need more than 16 energy, as they provide 64 energy, which is basically as good as you can get without using glow crystals. Alright, so let's take a look at it now. So we should, I believe we will have, we have Djinn and Dryad at the correct level. So you can see we gained the extra, the flame burst immunity from the ocean god since the last time we looked at it. And yep, so the essence levels are at 5 and 5, which is what we need for the rest of the item. So now we can add the ear of wheat to get the fertility god, or goddess. This will push the wind god onto the item. There's the wind god. Then we can get the needle, which will give us the bed of thorns that we need to be able to have 2 Yggdrasils later. And this will in itself push the fertility goddess into the actual item. There it was, right there all along. There's fertility goddess. Then we'll put in the first spiny seed. This will shove the bed of thorns in, which was from the needle. Then we will do the giant's horn, which will push the actual Yggdrasil on. There you go, Tree of Mana. Then we will do the second spiny seed. This will push the Leviathan onto the item. And then we will do the Loquat shoes, which will give us, it'll cause the Spirit of Shoes card, but that's going to push on the second Yggdrasil. So now it should look like Spirit of Shoes in the hidden slot, Yggdrasil, Leviathan, Yggdrasil, which means now we're in the situation where adding subsequent pieces of meat will increase our stats. So we'll look at the item. So we've got six immunities that we wanted. We picked up the Petrification and I believe the Paralysis from Fertility God and Wind God. And you can see the Mystic Powers are lined up like they should be, and you can see the stats are actually already quite good because the Leviathan, presumably I believe the Leviathan gave you the 15 defense, and the Yggdrasil also is quite beneficial across the board in adding stats. So these ones are already pretty big, but you'll see that we can get all of these to plus 20 now with the addition of 10 meats. Okay, so one meat. And I won't go out, I could go out each time and show you how much it's going up, but I know that 10 is the minimum amount to get it to max. 2 meat. Three meat. Four meat. Five meat. And it's possible that there's a more efficient way, but considering that meat costs nothing, essentially, 6 meat. Considering the meat costs basically nothing, I don't see any problem with just jamming a bunch of meat into it. 7 meat. Eight meat. Nine meat. Ten meat. And then before I put in the last card, which is going to solidify the Mystic card configuration, I'm just going to double check that we have it the correct stats, because I could still add meat here if I need to. And there, yep. So there is 20 to all stats. So now I'll just add in the final lily pods. And we just need this to be any item that adds a card that, because it's going to push stuff in. This card is just going to be in the hidden slot, so it shouldn't do anything. We don't want to have anything that would cause any weird adverse effects. Lily Pods is very commonly used for this purpose because it's quite common to have it, and it adds a card that shows up under pretty much all circumstances and has no negative effects. And there's the Spirit of Shoes going in. Now I think I want to probably just take off the Forbidden Ring at this point, because Dragonbone has pretty good magic defense, Captain's Helm has pretty good pretty good other defense. Yeah, well, it's nothing special, but whatever. Sick. And then the other recipe, can't do it yet, it'll be for an Iron Gloves. But we need to be able to get Lormar Iron, so that's going to be from our shop. We also need to purchase 3 Holy Water. I can go over this more when I'm actually doing it, but it's a very similar idea, except with the weapon we're not doing all this weird stuff with levels to get different immunities. We're just increasing the levels and then keeping the levels high, because then that's going to increase the damage of the weapon. The only real unusual thing that we do add is Garlic Crown, which creates a unique plunge attack for gloves. And then at the end of the process, you actually want to finish it with 3 Holy Waters and a Giant's Horn, which is going to make it so that it has 3 of the Cleric card. And then the Giant's Horn as the last item is going to add an extra damage bonus, kind of in the similar way as how the Stinky Breath as an item added those immunities on our armor. Let's see. And just checking. Yeah, we have not done any quests at the snowfields yet. So let's do a quest. I'm gonna try out these boots and see how how much those stats actually matter. And then I guess I'll jump back into the other view here too. You will not find fairy treasure here, young traveler. You might end up getting turned into an ice statue by an ice witch, just like my brother. This dude's really hung up on his brother. Like, you don't have to project it onto me. Now this area could be, well, I was going to say this area could potentially be kind of difficult because it's, you placed it recently, but I suppose it's not that far from home yet either. But I am getting to the point where I would like to be able to upgrade my weapon pretty soon, so I really hope I can get that level 4 shop soon. I haven't really, well, I guess I know that my next place is the Underworld, so it's still going to be a while until I get a new shop. But it looks like these guys are not going to be too difficult. Still killing them pretty easily. Fiery Stabber. That must be the rare, the somewhat rare spear that they drop. Maplewood, yeah. Not super familiar with that one. But that's a pretty good item if I was using spears. So I was actually looking at when I was designing the recipe for the Lorimar iron gloves that was the next thing I'll be making. The Maplewood is actually can be farmed easily on normal difficulty with a Polter box, and it's actually stronger for gloves, but it's just only a little bit stronger, and because it's a wood material, it really makes it hard to. It just adds a lot of complications when you're tempering it, which I think is because essentially the way that wood works is that whenever you add an item that doesn't add a mystic card, it automatically adds a dryad card for you, which really messes up the planning and makes it a lot harder to kind of set up for easy, simple recipes. So I just really wasn't able to get it to balance out nicely, and it kind of just it is nice to work with. Obviously, like Direwood is one of the best materials to work with because you can build the dryad levels so easily, and then you can drain it into other stuff and all things like that. But for something that's a simpler, quicker recipe, it's just a lot easier to avoid wood. Maybe Nacratos has a whole new life now. But teacher? Nice giant swords in that chest. I'll have to keep that in mind. Don't need to worry about like farming them then. Here we're calling her names. He is alive. Dot dot dot. I just didn't want to believe it. To survive this brutal environment, he became a snow monster. He no longer has a human mind. This was the truth he refused to hear. Free him to the underworld where his wife awaits him. Of course, I suppose I'll have to, Oh, you can't kill your own brother, huh? I suppose I'll do it. Always in the right place at the right time. Nice, got a hit. That's rough. He was like stuck on top of me, so he kept doing the pushback thing. But it was pretty solid. He didn't do any like specials, so. Now how do you feel? Not so great. Roasting the dude. He just lost his brother. Make eye contact. Let's see. Just need to check my guide here. Yep. Okay. So now we're planting. Yep. Trembling Spoon. We can do the Fallen Emperor. I will have to go back to the Cactus Diary as well here. Yep, so this should go right here. this will basically be the first quest in the Dragon series. I am Lark, Dragoon of Draconis. Draw what? Let's see. Oh no, let me out. I think this dungeon's pretty straightforward. So kind of just a quick run through, don't need to worry about too much diversion. Alright, I guess there's actually a lot of paths, so this might get a little bit goofy. Found Old Bone. Wake up and smell the coffee. You're dead, pal. I guess, okay, we didn't need to go to the baptismal flame then. Alright. And so this is the baptismal. No. Oh, this was that. Okay. Yeah. So then this probably goes up to back to the first floor. And this probably goes back to Lark. Alright, okay. So I always think it's faster to not read the guide, but it never is. So let's just open up the guide here. 1 second. Okay, inside the newly placed underworld, you'll see a blue flame move towards the tombstone. Blah blah blah. Take Lark's assistance. Go left. And then the upper left. So we have to talk to Oldbone with Lark. Yeah. Then we go to the baptismal chamber. Why do you bother me bringing this person down here? So Draconis' evil plans will succeed now. I'd love to help out if you had a nice spot for me. Give permission to perform the baptism of flames. Flame me up, please. Alright, so now these doors should be open up for us. Good old Mr. Rubens. I always thought this was a pretty cool boss. Good old Lord Draconis with a cool hat and nice mustache. Three jealous dragons. You know, no way that this is a bad guy, right? This is an important opportunity to test my powers. Let's do the blue and red again. Some more lily pods. I made talks with the cactus. And then we can actually pick up Bud to meet the rest of the wisdoms. Masked potato. Pair of heels. So I'll do red and the yellow here. So now is the first time that we can actually meet Olbone. Or Albon. In the underworld with Bud. No, nah, yeah, dang it. Stupid thing. I assumed that the yes would be the first option, so I jammed down to switch, but they were flip-flopped, so I picked yes anyways. You can't escape your destiny. So can I actually... Okay, I just talked to the tombstone. Interesting. Stick around here and you'll become like us. Let's see if I should be able to remember where Olbone is. Yeah, I have to go to the second floor. Okay, this was the thing I missed. That was the only thing I missed the first time through the dungeon. I'm Bud. I can listen to the wisdoms to become a great wizard. Know that you can do anything you wish. And do not forget that you are a human being, just like any other. Coming from a guy that is probably not a human. only feel hot at first. And then we should be advanced enough to meet Selva, the last wisdom in Gato. Hello, bud. Children are always a little bit outside the flow of history. They always have ideas on how they can make up for the adult's mistakes. Your childhood memories will help you throughout your magic career. Thanks. Do not fear the future. The flow of time is about to change its way. People will become free. See, that should complete it unless I missed any. Yeah! I got to talk to all 6 wisdoms. Apparently it wants me to do the quest called Diddle-Hatted, which I forget exactly which one that is. Okay, so now I can do the quest in where I talk to Diddle in Lumina. So we should be able to I think the way this works is you start the quest here, talking to Diddle, and then he'll wander away, and then later on some spirits will come and you'll be able to resume the best juggler, blah blah blah. Oh, I have to go to the tavern. Yeah, that's this. Diddle will walk off on Capella. I just wonder if I'm missing something. Interesting. Oh. Okay, so I must have had to talk to them, and then after I talk to them, then it can start. Oh well, none of my business. Then we leave. Then we leave. And then we should see on the world map. On the world map we should see schedules going into Lumina. Then we can continue with the next step of that. Let's see, I guess I could take this opportunity to get some more flaming quills. I think the chocobo shows up over here. Should also equip my magic on here. Box just wandered away from that. I thought that it's getting some bad odds here. I thought that the flaming quills were 50% drop with a polter box. I guess we haven't had that many rolls though. So I need 9 quills for the iron gloves recipe. Why did I kill it? Oh my god. Wasting. we had some clues left over, so let me just check where we're at. 5. So I think I need 3 more. I had one job keeping track how many I'm on, and I forgot. All right, 2 more. One more, getting a streak of good luck here. But you know, that last one is always the hardest. Nice. All right. Let's see what else we need. So we got the garlic crown already. We've got the sulfur, mercury, the stones. We have plenty of meat. Yeah, that should be everything then. We just need the holy water. We got a giant's horn too. We have 2 horns actually. So that's even better. So now we just need to get the level 4 shop to buy iron, and then whatever other shop to buy holy water. The level 4 shop might take a while, I think, though, to get, because that's the highest level. There's another case of that weird, that hitbox weirdness, where I'm able to hit him with the quick attack, but then I go for a heavy attack, and neither of us move, but it still misses. Wow, stuffed him at the last moment. Let's see, I guess I could see what the next step is here. So we are doing Skull Lantern. I'll just proceed with the next quest until the Diddle has it triggers. I'm not sure how long that's going to take. I suppose I should probably bring Lark with me. Yeah. Wait a minute. Stand still, please. You're being tricked. What? Draconis is a bad guy? I don't think so. Dragoons of a Cravator, huh? Tricked. Three Shriek Nips here. This could be good for farming spiny seeds. If I can kill them. Jeez. Treasure. I wonder if this guy drops anything good. Check that. drops Angel Feather, Ruby Band, and Phoenix Robe, which is a dragon skin robe. But I don't think I'm high enough level to be able to get those. Alright, let's see here. No. Oh, I fell into the trap. Oh boy. Okay, so we gotta kill a third wind caller before we try to go through that barrier. So there should be a path to the lower right that we were supposed to take. Alright, so basically back to where we were. So let me go lower right. stun so he doesn't cast a spell. Nice. Dead. Alright, now that barrier that I blundered into before is open. Now we can kill these silly dragons. Good XP on that. Wow, whoa. He just like one-shotted that dude? Oh, I wonder if he did a counterattack. That's wild. Oh yeah, he's got Counter-Strike. That's wild. Like one-shotted that dude. Whelps. Worthless. Wrecked. But we're the good guys, so it's fine. Wait, I don't have any instruments, yeah. Nah. Let's see. Change right colors. Right. So if nothing spawns here, there should be a chest. Yep, okay. That's what I was thinking. Treasure. There's a lot of these Narcissus guys here. Time for the real boss. do this to vulnerability. Ooh, and it still hit. So. Alright, and that's the quest. Then we'll get Dragon Bone for the next area. Why do you do such unspeakable acts? Dot, dot, dot. And then it looks like we actually do the field trip quest at Dragon Bone Fortress. And then quite a few other things before we actually pick up the Dragon quest line again. So I'll jump over and do that. Okay, nice. So Diddle had it is triggering now. I'll probably just finish this quest then and call it a night. So we just talk to Capella, and then he will do stuff for the quest. Okay, why does he have to do this? I know, I'll go look for him. Except, for some reason I feel like I'm going to end up doing most of the work. Let's see. So then we go over here, and then, oh, Diddle was still here. Then the shadows that we saw on the world map will grab him. Then we're going to end up going to the underworld, obviously, because that's where the shadows came from. And that was the artifact we placed right before we were able to trigger this, so it kind of makes sense that that's what would happen. But obviously this is one of those quests that would be almost very hard to figure out how to start it, very hard to figure out how to finish it if you didn't kind of know what you were doing. Then we should run into Capella here. And I guess Pokeel will make an appearance to provide a little spoiler. I can't go on, I've had it. He's had it with life, pal, he's with us now. Man, they're so happy. They're just taking everybody. That's not fair. This is why you never mess with graveyards. As long as you are able to feel happiness and sorrow, you must avoid the shadows. They'll try to drag you to the bottom of the underworld. Well, they already did, buddy. Okay. So we got to avoid the shadows here. We can't touch them either, apparently. Jesus. Alright, maybe we should save. I thought those Chimera beasts, that one I just killed, were pretty sweet. One of the cooler pet possibilities, I think. Wow, I got caught. Dang. I was hoping that I would backflip far enough back that I would be able to hit him with that, but I got caught there on the ledge. All the monsters are very easy though, so. Oh! Oh! Got me. Alright, we're just flailing now. Oh yeah. Alright, so we gotta watch out for those yellows. So they'll be invisible, but they're still there, so you have to not touch them even though they're invisible. Alright, so here's what we were trying to do last time. So they just like move in a little square. And then, jeez. Why did I not look at them? Oh my gosh. Didn't pay attention to where they were and then before they disappeared. So this is what happens when you try to underestimate this game. Gotta keep remembering these are the these are the quests most people never even find. What do you know? We got another earthquake saved up here. Alright, so we know how to do this one. Oh! Okay. Don't know how to do that one. Yes, this game is pretty cool. It's part of the Mana series, which is definitely similar to related to Final Fantasy and all the Square Enix games. But yeah, the combat is different. No turn-based stuff. You just, run around, punch stuff. My character happens to be using the fist weapon, so it's all like martial arts type moves, but they have like a bunch of other weapons and stuff you can use as well. Earthquake time. Well, yeah, this game is for the original PlayStation. Alright, so I'm pretty sure I can just sneak by this guy on the top. Yeah. Some of them seem like they moved. Okay, now I know the path. Alright. This is the furthest we've ever gotten. Okay, and that's the end. Great. Nothing's fun. You're having fun, but I'm jealous. But you're always smiling. Well, that's for me to decide, buddy. Why are you smiling again? Well, it's kind of funny. There's nothing good about life. You get hurt, have fights, and there are too many goodbyes. Watching your shows doesn't make anything better. And I don't like it when people laugh while you juggle. Oh no, everything he's saying is turning him into more and more of a shadow. I understand it all, Diddle. This world's full of boring and nasty things, but I still like living in this world. Come back up when I make the world a better place. So, take care until then. I'll be waiting for you up there, buddy. You can't go back once we've taken you. You'll become a shadow and never return to human form. Because he's definitely a human, right? I will remain myself, so don't worry about me. Are we ever gonna have fun with him? I won't look down on you. Even if you come after me now, I'll welcome you. Hey, he's playing his music. All you need to do is run. If you make it up there, then you're free from us. If you don't make it, then the monster's gonna gobble you up. Of course, since I'm here, I suppose I'll just kill the monster for them. They can do whatever. Alright, he's got some moves. But yeah, definitely my favorite thing about this game is the item crafting system, which is wildly complicated and poorly understood by many, but extremely rewarding. So I did a little bit of it earlier in this session, so if you're able to watch the VODs either on Twitch or YouTube, you can kind of check that section out. Diddle almost went back to get you. He should have trusted you like I do. Ha ha ha. See, Capella knows I can kill anything. Let's stay and watch the stars just a little longer. Oh, Capella. Stars spin as they fall when you're trying to catch your breath. It's a secret. Oh, much further to beat this game. Well, I have beat it before. I think that this is about. This might be about halfway to beat it through the first playthrough. And then you can do a New Game Plus mode where you basically restart the whole world, but you keep your character, items, equipment and stuff, and your levels. And then you can replay it the second time through, and in the difficulty, you can change the difficulty to make it harder, so the monsters basically just have more health, do more damage, which is pretty nice. And then they also have the monsters will drop better items as well. So I'll probably plan to do all the quests on this playthrough. Then on this New Game Plus playthrough, I'll probably just set it up and kind of farm some stuff, get good items, level up all the way, and then make like some sick items and stuff. But I think we're about halfway through the first playthrough. Let's see, so that was that quest. I'll probably have to call it a day here. I'm just going to place down the next item, the next artifact here, which is the Dragon Bone. And this will go over here. Okay, yeah, cool, thank you. Yeah, it's just basically I just upload all of the Twitch VODs there, so they're definitely a long play, extemporaneous mode with no editing. Let's see, and then this is where we can finally buy. Maybe we can buy. This is where we can purchase gold clovers, I think. Oh, you don't really need them anymore. Okay, yep, you're following for the TF2 streams. Yeah, I've still been playing Team Fortress 2 as well. Particularly lately I've been playing the TF2 Classic mode, which is like a mod that is... They have like a Discord and stuff. They kind of like... It's supposed to be more like the original game without all the extra items and stuff. Alright, I think the shop is over here. Or the shop isn't open until I do that. I think I have to do this quest before I can actually use it as the shop. No. Alright, I'm just gonna do this quest because I like already accidentally started it and almost finished it. Okay, so we need the fairy scales. Let's get brass ore and green moss. So we basically have to try to guess and check these items and see if they work. One of them's okay. So I think the fairy scales is good, but we don't want the other ones. Holy pen. Silver spotted mushrooms. I think silver spotted mushrooms is correct. Oh yeah, okay, so it's this guy. No, Gypsy Tooth, dang it. It was that one, okay. Let's see, my YouTube channel. Where's the picture? I think that's actually... Yeah, wait. I don't even remember what that is a picture of on my YouTube. Sec here. It's funny. Yeah, I don't know what that is a picture of. I don't know. That might be like a default, one of the defaults or something. That's weird. I was confused because it looks kind of similar to a... So weird. It looks kind of similar to a picture I actually took of St. Paul, Minnesota, where I live. But I don't think that is it. That's why I was confused. No, yeah, it's definitely not St. Paul. looking at it again. But yeah, that must be just like a default or something. Oh yeah, and then my avatar picture is just like this. There's like this cool AI program that you can use called Portrait AI. And it's like .com or something, and you just upload a picture and then it like redraws it as like a oil painting style. So I just did that with a picture I had sitting around, and it looks kind of cool. Oh, cool, yeah. You just moved to Minnesota recently. Excellent. I suppose it makes sense that I suppose it's just getting around to evening time now. In this time zone. I've been following a few other people that are streaming Legend of Mana, and they seem to be streaming mostly during the day, or like in the mornings and stuff. Alright, we made the Triagran. Well, okay, it makes kids' heads explode. That's great. Oh, okay, so you live near in Owatonna. That's good. I don't know too much about that place, but if you like it there, then that's excellent. Let's see, the only place not too terribly long ago, like a couple years ago, we went down to Austin, Minnesota to visit the Spam Museum and some other fun stuff they got down there. Okay, just refreshing my memory of my geography. Yep, it's a little bit past Owatonna. Yeah, we would have driven on 35, certainly. Actually, in fact, I guess... Well, I don't remember exactly which route, but yeah, it probably would have been either past it on 35. Yeah, that's cool. Maybe I'll have to, visit Owatonna sometime if they have some cool, like, museums or antique stores or something. I've gone to, like, my wife and I have gone to, like, a fair number of little road trips around the state. So it's kind of fun. Okay, an orphanage museum. Could be cool. I suppose, yes, kind of weird when you think about it. Let's see, just checking over this guide again. So we did, Guardian of Winds, we did the field trip. So actually, I can put in Pulputta Harbor now. Oops. Alright, so I'll just place Pulpota Harbor, and then I should have to take a break because it's getting too late for me here. So one of the other cool things about this game is that when you do certain quests, you'll get these items that show up here, and when you place them, it creates new lands on the map. I think I can zoom out here. Oops. And then, depending on how far away they are from your house and how late into the game that you place these places, it basically makes them like higher level zones. And this one happens to be a city, which means there should be a shop. You do actually get stuck with the same main character. Okay, and here's where you can buy holy water. Excellent. Let's see, and this is silver, gold. Yeah, so you do get stuck with the main character. There are two different models that you can choose from. This is the male one, and then there's also a female one. But you can still, like right now I'm just using glove weapon, but you can like switch to whatever weapon you want, whenever you want, you know, change armor and stuff. Although that doesn't really, the armor doesn't really affect your playstyle. And then you can also equip different skills and like abilities to use in combat. So right now I have jump and counter strike, but you can do like crouch, retreat, push, spin, grapple, bash, different things. And then these are like the magic abilities or special techniques you can do. Right now I'm just using earthquake because that's the best, but there's a lot of other cool ones that you can kind of explore. Let's see, does this guy have a shop too? There's no ghost in the inn. Someone's just pulling a prank. I was pleased to meet you indeed. Let's see, and then he has gold items for sale here. And these musical instruments are actually decent, so I should probably pick up the harp and a flute. And then those are actually equipped here, so I can put on these new instruments. So this game, the way you cast spells is by using musical instruments. So I'll just swap those on for the other ones, and we can check those out next time. And then we purchased the holy water that I needed. And then so here I'll have to call it a night, but it was a good game, good playing, I think. But yeah, nice to chat with you, Aoki, if that's pronounced correctly. And then yeah, for anyone else as well, as I mentioned, you can check out the VODs on YouTube, which should be linked in somewhere on Twitch, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can try to watch on Twitch as well. jam all this produce. It always takes so long. It always takes longer than I think to grab all of it. Okay, oh nice, we got a flat seed. Flat seed should be good. So I give them just the flat seed on its own because that gives you a good chance of getting the garlic crown. Which, although I already have one, but it never hurts to just get another one just in case. And you'll see that's used for the gloves that I might be making soon. Alright, but I'll have to call it here, but thank you. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. The avatar that I have is actually from something called Portrait AI, which is a website you can check out. Let's see where that is here. Yeah, I thought that there was just a website version. I see now it's an app you can get on Google Play called Portrait AI. I don't... Oh, here it is. Alright. PortraitAI.app. So you know it's legit. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You can check that out. And it gives you a bunch of... You just have to upload an image of your something to their database, but then they give you a bunch of pictures that you can like crop and restyle. But yeah, have a good one. I'll see everyone next time.